Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Really Feminine podcast. I am so excited to be here today with my friend, Doug, who you're going to absolutely love. I'm going to tell you all about him just here in a minute. I want to open this up and also welcome my cousin and my co-host, Michelle.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Back again.
Yes.
Here we are. Are you ready for this conversation?
I am. I'm really excited.
Okay, because this is literally going to blow your mind. If you guys are just listening in these first few seconds, I promise you, you either are this person or you know someone who is desperately going to need to hear the information that Doug is about to bring. And if you're a female, you will absolutely have experienced in some part of your life something that we're going to talk about today. And I'm telling you, my heart is to see you get set free so that your heart overflows with the abundance of heaven for you on this side of heaven, and that everyone around you gets to enjoy your being instead of your doing. So welcome back. And I am going to tell you today we have such a special guest, Dr. Doug Weiss. Dr. Doug is a licensed psychotherapist, a certified sexual recovery therapist. Everybody just listen. Here we go, because that's pretty important. Partners recovery therapist, intimacy anorexia therapist. He also holds certification as a sexual recovery coach, partners recovery coach, and intimacy anorexia coach. He's the author of over 40 books and the founder of Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs. And I have already recommended this place to so many people because I firmly believe in his program because it works. You may have seen him on Oprah, Dr. Phil, Good Morning America, or The Doctors, but what we love most is the way that he brings truth and grace into some of the lives of our deepest wounds. His brand new book, right here, it is called Forgiveness for Everyone. I personally feel like I need to read that every single day of my life, is a practical and powerful guide to one of the hardest things that we face, and that's truly forgiving those who have hurt us. Whether it's a parent, a spouse, a friend, or even ourselves, forgiveness is the key to freedom, and Dr. Weiss shows us how. Ladies, if you've been carrying any bitterness, any regret, or any pain, or are in a relationship with someone who has a sex addiction, this conversation is for you. We are about to dive in to what forgiveness really means, how to do it without losing your boundaries, and why it can change your life. Let's welcome Dr. Doug Weiss to the Really Feminine podcast.
The Really Feminine podcast. So glad to be here.
And you're the Really Masculine on the Really Feminine, and it's a great combo.
I've written more books for women than most men alive. I'm actually the founder of a lot of women's materials on partner betrayal, trauma. And I've been a man fighting for women who've been injured for 40 years.
I love that so much.
So, they love me because I've written for them when no one would.
Come on. I love that. Now tell me, why did you choose, what spurred your heart on for that? Let's talk about your background in that. How did you come to have a passion for that?
Well, I mean, I was conceived in adultery. I was put in foster homes. I was sexually abused. I was sexually addicted, alcoholic, drug addict. Then I got radically saved, put in Bible school, and then thought I was going to go into pastoral ministry, but God called me into counseling. And when I started working as a counselor, I worked in Fort Worth in the psychiatric hospital. I was actually here at that time. And
Wow.
all the counselors in the area knew me, the psychiatrist, psychologist, all that. And they knew my story. So they started sending me all the sex acts because they didn't know what to do with them.
Wow.
And so they start getting better. And I realized there's a book out on sex acts, but there's nothing for the wives. So I wrote my first book, Women Who Love Sex Acts, was on Phil Donahue. Then I've written many other books and been on Oprah, Dr. Phil, all the other stuff that we've done. But the passion for women was there from the beginning because I saw that no one was really, they were calling them co-addicts, and it was ridiculous because the women I were meeting were beautiful, intelligent, godly, good lovers, and they were decent people. They didn't deserve to be labeled as something like they had something to do with stupidity.
Right.
You don't go around saying I'm co-stupid.
Right. Come on.
Okay.
So
He's
good.
100% responsible if he cheats, if he looks
Come
at porn,
on.
and if he, is withholding love through intimacy and anorexia. Those are 100% their responsibility. So women get blamed. I didn't like women getting blamed. So I wrote the book, Women Who Love Sex Acts. And then we wrote that turned into Partners when we did research. And now it's another book called Partner Betrayal Trauma, because we realized that it actually is a legitimate trauma with symptoms that you can see and women can experience. Because afterwards, so many women told me, I'm not the same.
That's right. That's right.
And in our research, it showed that even after 1 or 2 years later, they were still having symptoms of PTSD.
I've heard it up to 7 years.
So it's real.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah. And here's the thing I've heard. I've ministered to women for 25 years in general, a lot of them in meltdown marriages. Okay. And I have my own testimony in my marriage. We've been married 35 years and we rebuilt and came back. But, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people didn't get that opportunity for whatever reason.
Right.
One partner quit and left or whatever.
Sometimes they don't have the right information.
That's
either.
right. That's
you know,
the
like
exactly.
we do intensives, 5-day intensives in Colorado Springs at Heart to Heart, and we do polygraphs because we don't think women should be lied to.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
gosh, that's great.
You see,
What?
so on Monday he's given the opportunity to tell the truth, and most women don't tell their husbands that. And if you're bringing them, don't tell them that because it's really good for them not to know because they won't come. So
That's right. Because they
Oh my
won't come.
so when I'm sitting there Monday, I say, listen, you know, your wife has a challenge trusting you. Would you do anything to rebuild trust with her? And he goes, yeah, anything. Great. Because I have a polygraph set up for you in about 40 minutes. And we want to ask you some questions.
Oh,
How many was it? When did it actually stop? How often are you doing masturbation and pornography?
Wow.
And do I know every behavior? Because if there's strip clubs or prostitutes or the things I don't know, I want to know, right?
Wow.
And half the guys will lie even when they're taking the polygraph.
I'm sure men have just
Wow.
refused to do it, right?
Very rarely. Because
Well, they're just
because
right
at that
there, right
point,
there.
the
Yeah.
woman is like, even if you don't take it, I now know more truth than I knew just a minute before Dr. Weiss
Yeah,
asked you that
true.
question.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
I sit there and I go, okay, she knows that you're lying. I know that you're lying. And you know that you're lying. Do you really want to leave this office on Monday, because you're going to be here till Friday, all of us knowing that you're lying?
Mm,
How are we going to build with that?
Yeah.
Right.
You got us in mud now. You can get out, but you have to tell the truth because the truth will set you free.
That's right.
And
Come
you know what's
on.
amazing? Men don't believe this, but I have seen the incredible, almost superpower of women to be able to absorb betrayal and trauma if they know the truth.
I love the superpower of women.
Okay.
Wow.
Because if they know the truth, they can absorb the pain. And then we have the guy does a polygraph once a quarter for the first year. So she has a safety net of no longer having a secret world where he's in control and thinks he's God. And so it puts them on the road of truth. And then it gives him a year to grow up because addictions, you know this, addictions rob you of spiritual, emotional, and moral maturity.
That's right.
So he might be 55, but spiritually, emotionally, morally, he's 14.
That's
So he
right.
thinks he's cheating on his girlfriend.
That's right. That's right.
You know
And
what
they
I'm
don't
saying?
understand.
And they don't have the moral clarity
That's
as to
right.
like, oh, all I'm doing is pictures. No, what you're doing is cheating on your wife. You're just using pictures to cheat instead of a person.
That's so good. God, that's so good.
Yeah, so what I'm saying? And so this helps him mature, and we have support groups they do on the phones after treatment. And so the workbooks and all this stuff. And so we have like a 90+ success rate with addicts and partners and marriages staying together.
90%.
Because
Let me tell you how
because
powerful
truth,
that is. 90%
well,
is
most
huge,
addictions are
Doug.
like in 20% range. And so
Yeah.
but with truth, you know, you can get that, and she can rebuild trust, not based on his big blue baby eyes
Yeah.
that lied to her for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on the fact that, the polygrapher says you're honest, so I trust you.
Right.
I'll give you another 3 months.
Yeah,
Right.
That is great.
You
That's
know,
it.
so
That's so
you
good.
see how our program is designed to help women, not just the addict. It's great that he gets better, but if he gets better without her knowing the truth and her doing her work of healing, the marriage is still going to be funky.
Right. Not always wondering,
Well,
is
if
he lying?
you know,
Where
you're
is he?
women, right? So you have a knower. Men don't have that.
Oh, we have a
Okay,
knower.
We have
Yeah.
a guesser, but you guys have a knower.
Yeah, guesser.
Like you guys mope around and we try to guess what's wrong with you. Okay. So
We have the knower.
So, but you know, and deep down when your husband's lying, like I was telling you off the set, I did a conference in Calgary in a big church, and I had the women on Thursday, men on Friday, and I said, now ladies, 50% of the men in any church are struggling with pornography or sexual addiction. And the reason that they don't get help is because no one asks them the question. So you have authority over sexuality. That's that's 1 Corinthians 7, somewhere in there, where it says the woman, that he does not own his own body, but she owns it, right? So you have authority to ask that question, like nobody else does. So ask him, when was the last time you were viewed pornography, or when was the last time you were with yourself, by yourself? Because there's an answer. It might be 15 years ago, but there's an answer.
Right.
And a lot of
right.
women probably don't even want to know, right?
Well, if
No,
they
they
don't want to
don't.
know,
Saying,
but
yeah.
here's the problem. That seed leads to infidelity.
That's right.
So if you let a weed grow on your shift, then there's some responsibility there
That's
as
right.
far as like, if you're that willingly naive in a culture where porn store is in your pocket,
That's right.
you've got to be naive.
That's right.
And if you're not going to protect your husband, you're not going to protect your sons.
That's right. Come on.
Mm.
That's right.
Okay, so someone, if he's playing with himself, he's not protecting the family.
That's right.
And if you're not going to pick up the sword and protect your family, you wonder why your family's a mess.
Right.
It's
Come
because
on.
both of you are too lazy to fight.
Oh my God.
Okay, so one of you has to step into the ring. And so I asked these women, they're Canadian, so they do what the speaker says, right? So,
They're all okay. We'll do it.
okay, exactly. So they went home and asked, and Revival, because I had the guys on Friday night, Revival broke out. They had to start like 7 support groups for the men.
Oh,
Because there were so many men who came clean because the women asked.
wow.
Okay, so when women have their voice and they use it the way they're supposed to, it's okay to investigate, not declare, to investigate. And when you investigate, it's fine. Because, even Jesus said, okay, I healed you, but now go show yourself to the priest. Let the priest investigate
That's
that
so
you're clean,
good.
right?
That's so good.
And so women, now, like you said, and we said, I mean, some women don't want to know the truth, but then when the truth comes out, don't be shocked,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
right?
If you keep burying your head, and I was saying earlier to
but
you,
it's cheaper to deal with it now than it is later.
well, whenever
Okay.
and I know most women watching are going to go, oh my gosh, yes, that's the way I feel. And that is the reason I was saying to Doug earlier, I think the reason women don't want to know is because they assume in their mind, and you might be watching thinking, oh, that's me. You assume that if I know the truth, then the marriage ends, and then the kids have a broken home, and then I don't have the money to support myself, and then what am I going to do? And then what if we have to get a divorce, and I don't even have the money for the divorce? And it goes all, and so they go, never mind, I just don't
You're
want to know.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But the opposite is actually true.
Right.
If you catch a guy who's with, say, pornography, and you catch it at a seed, it has not become a tree. It is really easy to rip out a seed than it is a tree.
That's right.
Now, if you let that tree go under your watch in your marriage for 20 or 30 years,
That's right.
first sin, then first lust, then sin, then death. Okay, he has a higher potential every year to cheat on you. And if he finds someone he likes more than you, the chances of divorce are higher then than now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So good. I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
That is,
So
yeah.
Doug,
So-
if somebody's listening, they're going, okay, well, that's me. I know something's going on. I don't want to look. I don't want to know. What would you say is their first step? Like women that are listening right now and go, I know, because I have many clients that go, I know, I can feel it in my gut. And so I'm like, well, let's process that out.
They
Let's try
already
to find-
know.
They already know, but let's see. So what's your
I would
advice, like
say
their steps?
get information. Okay, so we have a book called The Final Freedom, which is on sexual addiction. 6 types, explains it. There's no pictures or stories. It's just clean stuff. There's another book called Clean, and Clean would be a good book to start with. Give it to your husband, let him read it, because it's on sexual purity. Right, but in there, I talk about sexual addiction, pornography, and stuff like that. So we kind of slide it in there. But I would get support for 2 or 3 women that you can trust and say, I think this is going on. Okay, get informed. Get the phone number, 719-278-3708. Put that in your purse, in your cell phone. Okay.
That's a
good.
phone number for.
Heart to Heart Counseling Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we specialize in this. I mean, we've got like,
Okay.
50 phone groups, and we have
Okay.
counselors all over the nation,
So
all over the world.
amazing, Doug.
Okay. So they can call that and they can get information. But if we have phone groups they can get into, so they can be around some women who get it. That it's not about your beauty, your aging, your wrinkles, your gray hair, or any
That's
nonsense
right.
women
It's
come up
not.
with.
Come on.
And so he chose this when he was 14, not when he was 40.
I feel like I'm going to stand up and run around the room. I'm having revival in my heart. I'm so thankful for you
Well,
because
good.
this is an answer for so many women that I hear from. So keep going. I'm sorry. I'm getting all
So
excited.
get educated, 1, 2, get support, then 3, make a plan. And the plan is to address it with him. Have a man you trust, a pastor, a counselor, or even another couple. Because once it comes out to the light and there's a man involved, men make men. Women don't make men. Okay.
Say that again.
I
Say that again for the women in the back.
So I have a DVD called Men Make Men. And here's the thing. God gave man certain things and women certain things. Okay. Men make men. Women don't make men. They birth them, they feed them, and they love them. But they don't make them. Men make men. So if you want your man to become a man, he needs to be around men. If he's not around man, he doesn't want to become a man.
Wow.
No, you love.
So-
I have a great product called Finding Mr. Right. It's almost like a master's level class for women. It's like a 3 hours long DVD and about a 200-page workbook, so they can discern what a man is, what a man of God is, and what a boy is. And it doesn't matter how old they are, but women don't have the right glasses to be able to see the difference. You know, like those movies where, like, if you wore the right glasses, you could see they were an alien instead of a human.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So finding Mr. Right gives them those glasses to go, wait a minute, I don't see this, this, and this, and this in your life. So I'm going to run.
That's right.
You know, give you 10 years, you know, hopefully it works out for you.
Yeah.
You know, but women get trapped into attraction to males that are not men.
Yeah.
And male is not man.
That's
Male
cool.
can be boy, male can be a man, male could be man of God.
Wow.
But you got to know what you're looking for to find it. And just
Holy
because they're in a
cow.
male package doesn't mean that they're the package.
That's right. That's
Okay?
right.
And so anyway, we got off
Well,
topic.
and then
but
no. This is so powerful because even, and Doug, I'm so, you know, your wife is a friend of mine, and
she's
you
a
know,
friend of mine too. I love her. She's great.
she's amazing. I mean, I love her to pieces. But I know what she's talking about now because what you're saying is the underbelly of my whole mission, and that's to restore the home, the marriage, and the family through the woman, because I believe we carry that anointing.
You do, and it's
But we have to have men like you out there who are speaking to the men and calling them up.
yeah. I speak to men and women. I do men's conferences all over the country and world, and I've done a lot of women's conferences. Believe it or not, where I'm the only man in the room, and there's 1,000 or 2,000
Well,
women.
I can see why.
And because I can talk to them directly.
But what I love most about you is that you open this up by saying, I was conceived in adultery. There's one line of authority. I was thrown into a foster home. There's another line of authority. I was sexually abused. There's another line of authority. Like, you've got so many different authorities, because we know that a measure of rule in the Bible is something you've overcome
Absolutely.
and survived. So you've
Yeah.
got an authority in that, which means you have an anointing, and an anointing breaks the yoke.
Absolutely.
That's why I love what
I've been
you're
breaking the yoke in churches for almost my whole career, 40 years.
I love
because
this.
God is in Revelation chapter 2, it says, to him who overcomes, I will give authority over the nations. And it's talking about sexual impurity.
Wow.
It
I
says,
didn't know that
It's
when
Church
it
of
said that.
Thyatira. It says, you tolerate that woman Jezebel, who teaches my people to sexual morality and the food eating sacrifice to idols. So she was teaching compromise generally, but also compromise sexually.
Wow.
And if you overcome sexual compromise, I will give you authority over nations. Right now my show's in like 195 nations, 5 to 7 times a week. But I've been speaking to nations for a long time. And because you can break the yoke. I was in Juarez with about 4,000 Hispanic men, all about the same height. And
Yeah.
and they're precious and beautiful, but their skin's hard.
Yeah.
These are calloused hands.
Farmers, yeah.
And I don't speak any Spanish, but I did the conference aid translator, and I had them break up in groups and ask each other those 2 questions, man to man. When was the last time you masturbated? When was the last time you did pornography? The Holy Spirit came down, and boom. These men were crying and weeping and grateful to be free, because no one ever had the courage to love them enough to ask them.
Wow.
And when men make men, I do this at conferences all the time, and it trashes men.
Yeah.
Because they're never thinking that one's ever going to ask me these questions.
Right.
Okay.
And it sets them
And
free.
it sets them
Yeah.
free. And then I say, get phone numbers from each other, hold each other accountable, and you can get free for the rest of your life. I just told you how to get free. Now you just have to stay honest.
A lot of the women I've ministered to over the years have said to me, because they're coming to me to process how angry they are, because found out
Totally
husband was
legit.
cheating. Okay,
Totally legit.
found out husband was cheating, but here's where they get so angry is now he's acting like he's Mary Poppins, just hopping around,
You
so
feel- well,
happy.
I can explain
I said
that.
because he's finally come out of his
Yes.
dark secret, and he feels so good about himself, and now he's like, oh my God, I feel so relieved, because men think that telling the truth is going to bury them deeper, but it actually sets them free.
So the very first thing I ever wrote in my career was a little thing in a professional magazine called Pink Clouds and Thunder. So when a guy tells his story, he's on a pink cloud because if we confess our sins, right, we can be healed.
That's right.
So he's feeling light, he feels good, but she's mad as anything because all of his sins were now dumped on her. He's had 20 years to process, she's had 20 minutes. Okay.
That's right.
And so
Come
she's
on.
feeling the rage, and a righteous rage of
Yeah.
betrayal.
Right.
Right. And we talk about that in the part of betrayal trauma. The betrayal's real. And the way women think about, okay, now how does that, my past, what does it mean about the past? Were you with them then? When I was pregnant? Like they
Yep.
go through the whole like,
Yeah,
your
finite
brain's amazing.
detail. Yeah.
Right. And then they go, okay, what about my present? Do I need to quit my job? Does he need to quit his job? Do we need to move? Da, da, da. And then what about the future? Where are the kids are they going to make it to college? Are we going to make it? What's going to happen? Do I tell my mom? Like this, all this stuff happens in your brain. And so I feel so sorry for y'all, but it's just like boom, 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 right? And there is hope for healing. He can heal. You could heal. I've seen thousands. I've seen over 5,000 people in my career, and over 90% heal.
Wow.
Okay.
God, that's
So
so
this is
good,
not a
God.
bullet, and it doesn't have to be a cancer unless you let it keep growing.
Unless you just keep turning your head to it and acting like it's not there, anything that's hidden is going to fester and get more control over. And that's my whole, I cannot tell you how I'm about to get up and run around because I'm so like on fire that you're bringing this information to people listening, because our friend Laura was on before you, and she was. And actually, Doug, I do want to have this conversation with you in the future.
Sure.
Because I want to say to women who are the adulterous, the ones who are the ones having the affair with the married man,
I have a book on that called "She Has a Secret" in the workbook, and I have treated female sex. I
For-
was the first person
for
to
the
treat.
girl, the actual adulteress?
Yeah, I'm the first person, male or female, that wrote a book on female sex addiction that has statistics in it. 40 women joined me in the writing. And yeah, I mean, I've written a book called "She Has a Secret." Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. I looked at, and I told my team, I looked straight into the camera because Laura was just in tears and she was shaking, and because she's recalling that trauma, right?
Sure.
And I looked into the camera and I said, for those of you who think it's okay to be engaged or in an affair with a married man, I want you to look at the fallout, because Laura had just described
Absolutely.
her children's trauma, her children being in rehab, in counseling, and one of them had to go to actual center. Like that, she was describing all this stuff, and I looked at the camera and I said, for anyone thinks that it's really like luscious and it's sensual to be having an affair with a married man, look at the fallout behind that.
But you're talking to a 14-year-old woman.
That's right. But here's the thing I told my team. I want to turn this around for women who have actually been the adulteress and say, why are you allowing yourself to be second? And so I want to speak to that, because
I can answer
really
that question.
I don't want to condemn, and I don't want to.
No.
you're going to
80%
hell.
of them have been sexually abused.
That's right. Because
Okay.
I worked in sex trafficking for
Right.
10 years.
So 80% have been sexually abused. That's one. 90% come from dysfunctional families where they were not affirmed or loved or cared for. Okay. And their way of dealing with pain was seduction and sexuality.
That's right.
Okay.
Come on. That's right.
And so I have a whole DVD called Intrigue Addiction. They usually start with that. Hey, don't I look cute? Look at my boobs. Look at my butt. Look, hey, maybe I'm hot, right? Just give me attention, right? But then it moves to, hey, I'm getting energy back. And that's where it can start getting dangerous. Online is even worse because you're like, oh, it's not going to affect me. Many of the women who had affairs, I'm talking like pastors' wives and elders and, those kind of people, started with kind of the small, but it builds, right? And so like any addiction, it can get out of control. And I've had women heal and get better, and they can. But it's a very similar process because they see people as objects. So I think it's in the Forgiveness for Everyone book. But if not, it's in one book. I'm writing a book right now. I know it's in there, but I think it's in there. But I talk about the difference between object operating systems and relational operating systems. Now, this won't make sense for half of you. Most women are actually relational operating systems. They are, there's 3 points to that. People have value innately. All right. So you don't want to hurt or lie or do things. Okay. There are laws and there are consequences. And you should stay within those bounds. And if you don't, you expect to be spanked somehow. Right? That's relational reality. That's where some people live. And then there's object reality. This is usually from brokenness. And it goes like this. People do not have value. So I can lie, cheat, steal, malign. I could be one of those critics online and have no conscience about it. Right?
Yeah, right.
There are no rules.
Right. There are no rules. I
should have no consequences.
Right.
And how you know if you're in an operating system is someone gives you a consequence and you look like a 2-year-old.
And then you act, what? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so people have 2 different operating systems, and they're both humans, but they have different programs. And so a woman like that is in an object relationship program. And so she's looking just to get her needs met, and he has no value to her either. The man she's cheating with has no value to her.
Right.
Right. She has no value to herself, actually. But so, yeah, women, there's actually help for them. I've helped many of them over my career.
What about the ones that are addicted to the forbidden love? So they're the woman who's having the affair with a married man. Like they're not married. They're just the ones who constantly go for married men.
Well, that's
and
one,
then believe when they say, "I'm going to leave her because we're going to be together forever." Like that drives me nuts.
But there's a couple things there. Is one lane of thought would be, I am attracted to married men because they will never require all of me.
Oh my gosh.
And a
Okay.
real man will.
Wow.
He'll require all of my spirit, all of my soul, all of my body. He will require 100%, and I don't want to give 100%. So I can give 20% to this guy and just have sex with him. He's happy, I'm happy, no losers, right? So I know it's insane. Okay, but some women
That's
don't
so
want
good.
intimacy.
That's
See,
right.
that's a problem with women. All women think women are on the relational operating system, and some aren't. Okay, they don't want intimacy any more than you want bad things to happen to you.
Right.
They don't see intimacy as good. They see it as something to be afraid of. To be known is to be feared in that system. Okay, where in the
Wow.
relational, to be known is to be loved. Right.
So if there's a married man right now listening and he's in an affair with a woman who's not married, she's just that one you just described, what would you say to him? Like in that
it's already been
specific
said to him
space.
that he's willing to use a woman for sex. He's willing to use a wife for image.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So nobody in this system that he's created has value.
Wow. That's powerful.
So that man has multiple either addictions or mental health issues or brokenness that he needs to heal so that souls have value. So that you love your wife enough to go, you know what? Even though this is an opportunity, okay, I'm not ugly, all right? There's opportunity. But I really love my wife, Joni. And I don't want to break her heart because she has value to me.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
So this fruit doesn't look good because it's not good.
Right.
And also,
right.
I've sat across the room for 40 years of guys who committed adultery, and they've convinced me beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's no good thing that comes out of it.
There's never.
I've never had one man in 40 years, I'm talking 5,000 men, say, I would do that again.
Yeah.
Not
never,
one.
Never.
So I am pretty convinced that it's not a good idea
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, and I love what you said earlier because a lot of the women I've ministered to, they would see a picture of the mistress or the other woman.
Don't
and they
go
would-
online and do that.
Well,
Oh
they
my
would
gosh.
they would go, God, she's so ugly. That makes me feel worse. And I'm like, but he wasn't going to her because she was prettier than you.
Opportunity only. It doesn't matter what she looks like because he's after opportunity, not person. So she might be, 100 pounds heavier than you, but she's willing. She might be 100 pounds skinnier than you, but she's willing. She might be a different race, but she's willing. Willing is what he's attracted to.
Wow.
He's looking for a victim who's willing. He doesn't care what she looks like.
Wow.
Okay.
That's so good.
And so women, sometimes they go online, they oh my gosh, she's taller. Okay. But women, here is one of a flaw that I've seen in women in general. It's because men don't have it. Okay. When men walk into the room, they always find out how they're better than every man in the room.
See, my husband has told me this before.
I have more hair. I'm richer. I'm smarter. My
I'm
skin's
bigger.
better. I can bench press more than you. Whatever it is, it might be a very small thing, like I pay my taxes, but they figure it out. Okay, women walk into the same room and they find out why they are less than every woman in the room.
Oh my God, this
I'm
is so
smaller. I'm dumber. My hair is bad today. My shoes are not as good. My nose is crooked. Like, it's women. There's some kind of systemic flaw there.
so funny.
But
It's so true.
you know what I'm
That
saying? So
is.
you take that and then you take betrayal. And now all of a sudden, because women compare themselves all the time, now that comparison becomes almost compulsive because I want to know what he found in her that was better than me. And it's not better. She was just willing. The guy would walk into McDonald's and do McDonald's, or he'd walk into, a country club and do someone in a country club. It's not the where or the who. It's
Right.
willingness is the only attraction. Because I've had guys explain to me the 7 or 8 or 10 women they've had affairs with. The only thing in common was willing.
That's right.
Because one
They
was
were
21,
willing, yeah.
one
They
was
don't even
42,
care
one was
if
tall, one
she's
was
ugly,
short.
but
It's
nothing
willingness.
about-
Willingness is the attraction because in pornography, the woman's willing.
Speak to what you just said about he chose her because she was willing.
Right.
Because I think women need to get that in their head, like the wife.
Sure.
Like he chose her because she was willing. Like speak to that because I think what women would hear is she was willing to do what? Have more sex. She was willing to.
Well, she was willing to exchange, to make it an exchange.
What does that mean?
Like when you buy a blouse, you exchange money for the blouse. She was willing to make an exchange. So she's thinking, well, I will exchange my body or time, our affection for either the possibility of being loved, or just sex, or the intrigue of being attracted to somebody, or just having whatever she was exchanging for. Only she would know what that was. But it's not like the man sits down and go, oh, I want to go find someone else to love, because honestly, he's not looking for love. Okay?
No, he's
If he was looking
not.
for love, he would divorce you.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
That's how you know a man's looking for love,
That's right.
because he knows that he's not going to have. So if he's looking for lust, intrigue, fantasy, fun, sex, whatever, he's looking for someone to exchange services. And so it's not necessarily economic, but sometimes it is. But she's getting some, plugs out of, because she's sleeping with the CEO, or she's sleeping with the pastor, and wow, I must be hot, right? And so there's an exchange, whether it's emotional, psychological, physical, because some people, they don't want to have a relationship, but they want to have sex. Okay, so there's a portion of people, so that puts them in the marketplace to find people to have sex with without relationship.
Right.
So married people are the best, because they don't want to have a relationship, they just want to have sex. So they're actually, some married men and women are targeted by those people who want to just have that.
Oh yeah.
And I had a really dear friend of mine over 20 years ago, and in ministry, and their daughter was beautiful and precious, and there was someone in that ministry who worked her, and she was married, and they had a sexual relationship. She got pregnant.
Oh gosh.
Right? But when I went through the story, he perped her. Like, he totally systemically perped her into the relationship.
Wow.
Okay. And yes, she's responsible for her decision, but man, he worked her.
Wow.
Okay.
And then, and there's
but
experts.
there's a baby from this, right? So
Wow.
it went on and on. But the husband stayed with her, and they lived happily ever after they did the work. So
Wow. And so if you're if women are listening, or let's talk to men, men are listening, and they're like, man, I am that guy. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had the affairs. I'm in one right now. I don't even know where to begin.
I would do the same exact thing we talked about with the women. Number
Okay.
one, get informed. I'd get the book Final Freedom. I would make a phone call to Heart, 719-278-3708. Talk to a counselor. Tell them your story, so that you can create a plan to safely tell your wife.
That's good.
Okay. Now, if a man comes home and says, listen, we're struggling with the marriage, let's go do 5 days with this marriage intensive, she's going to come along.
Yes, right.
And then he can even disclose it there, and then take the polygraph to verify that he told the whole truth.
Wow. Okay.
Because once you open this door to a woman, let's suppose you do it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At 2 a.m., you're still talking.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So if you tell her the story and you do a polygraph an hour later, she doesn't need to ask you 1,000 more questions.
That's good. Yeah, that's right.
Plus,
because
she's not believing your answers anyway.
That's right.
So all the 12 hours you talk,
lose-lose.
you just lose, right?
Right.
Because she has very specific questions. Did you stop communicating with her? Is the porn out? Do you have any access to porn? Like, et cetera, whatever her questions might be. And without verification, she's going to keep asking them and keep asking them and keep asking them and keep asking
About
them.
more details.
Oh my gosh. Well, details, let's cover that. When you have an affair, or you find that stuff out, really the less details, the better. And let me explain to you why I would say that, because women get really upset at me because they don't hear me first. They're like, I'm entitled to know everything. Yeah, but that's not the best for you.
Yeah.
No.
So let me explain to you why. When he was acting out, he went into an altered state. Okay. So he actually won't remember most of those details until he's in that altered state. So let me give you an example. They did a study where they gave college students amphetamines while they studied. Both groups, A and B. And then in the A group, they gave them the amphetamines to take the test. How do you think they did? They did great.
Yeah.
They did great
Because they were in the same altered
state.
state.
Yeah.
They withheld it from group B when
wow.
they took the test. And how do you think they did?
Really bad.
Really bad, because the information's in the altered state.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So now, when the man's acting out, he's in a heightened state. He's in an altered state, right? So all his information is stored there. So if he doesn't, if they're not bringing it up and talking about it, it's not even available to him, right? So, but the woman is straight up sober. She will never forget any word he says.
That's right.
So every time she sees a blonde, every time she sees an Italian restaurant, every time she sees a Holiday Inn, every time she sees a blue Buick, whatever detail she knows will never leave her. I have international guys. They're not allowed to go to certain cities.
Yeah.
Right? There are guys who can't go to certain restaurants.
Yep.
are certain hotel
Because the
chains
trauma's attached to that.
because
Yeah.
she has created a symbol attached to that.
Yeah.
Which this is the thing. Women think in symbols and words. Men don't. Okay, men have some symbols like success, maybe a car, or something, but very small symbol base. Women think in symbol like a lot. Like, you know, you don't put the toilet seat down, you don't love me. For me, men, that drives us crazy.
I love
Like,
that. You don't put the
I'm
toilet
working,
seat
I'm
down.
working
You don't love
60
me.
hours a week, and that doesn't say I love you? Come on. Okay. So if you want to be kind to us, makes sense. But so the symbol is this. When
It's hilarious.
so women will connect that symbol of information to something. Okay, she wore a bikini. I will never wear a bikini.
Mm-hmm.
The bikini didn't mean anything. She just happened to have a bikini. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you attach a meaning to that bikini, I will never wear a bikini because she wore a bikini, and you're always going to think of her when you see a bikini because that's what I know. You know, because I know what you think, and I know who. You know how women gain that authority.
Yep.
And, you know,
Yep.
they just know, right? So
Yep.
men, so I really encourage ladies, get the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do a polygraph. When did it start? When did it stop? How many were there? Okay. And if she has a specific, sometimes she'll have like a thing. I just need to know that Marianne, your secretary, was not one of them. Because I know that I know. And let me tell you about your knower. It's only about 90% accurate. Based on 1,000 polygraphs. Not smoke. It's about 90% accurate because I've had women convinced that their husband had an affair and they was clean as a whistle. We've saved some marriages that way too.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good to know because their minds
sometimes
go crazy
in a
and they-
marriage system. If
Yeah.
the woman's knower is the final authority,
Oh gosh, yeah.
the man has no authority and
That's it.
acquiesces to the woman.
Yep. Yep.
So when you balance it with truth, he didn't have to acquiesce anymore.
Doug, and I told one of my clients recently, she has gone way down into a hole of trying to control every single solitary corner of his thoughts, his vision, his,
that'll make
all
it
the things.
crazy.
And it breaks my heart for her. But I finally, in this, actually, the Lord just gave this to me and it set her free instantly. But I said, you know what I'm realizing is that this is really not about what he's seeing or thinking. This is about you setting up safeguards so that you don't get hurt again.
Exactly. So 100% accurate.
You're actually creating
100%.
a wall around so it's really not about his behavior. It's about safeguarding yourself from the pain again.
I have a DVD called I Need to Feel Safe. And it teaches women how to stop using the external environment to try to make yourself safe
Right.
and how to, safety is a feeling.
Yep.
You can choose it.
Yep.
You can switch out of it.
It's good.
Okay. I have a book called Emotional Fitness, which teaches you how to identify feelings and be able to switch them. And when I train women how to switch their feelings, they can go from obsessed to safe in a nanosecond. Okay.
So what
Instead
would
of
the top
making him
three
make you
tools be
feel
of
safe.
that be? Because I know people are riled up right now thinking, I don't feel safe. So what are the top three tools that you
I
would?
need to feel safe. That'd be the first one. And then emotional fitness would be the second one to give you some tools. And I probably would have a girlfriend you can talk to so that when you're not feeling safe, you talk to her, not to him.
Also, the girlfriend has to be qualified, Doug. Speak to that. Because some of the girlfriends are like, leave him. He's a piece of trash. He's this, he's that. Like it's the
they have
wrong
to be,
girlfriend.
yeah, they have to be spiritually mature, committed
Yep.
to your marriage, committed to you.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be bad if they would read or watch some of the same just stuff that you're getting.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
they get the same, like we have a term called intimacy anorexia. And here you're trying to explain it. Well, no, just give them the book, let them read it.
Yeah.
And then they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right?
Right.
And
And your show's on Daystar.
Yeah.
And-
it's called Healing Time.
That's what I want everybody to just go watch and plug in. And you also have a huge presence on YouTube.
Yep.
So
Dr.
if-
Doug Weiss.
Yeah. So if people are not able, say they have, 5 kids and they have no time to sit and read and they want the information right now. So could they get some
There's
of this?
1,000 YouTubes out there.
There you go.
So on intimacy anorexia, on sexual addiction, part of betrayal trauma, marriage, all parenting, all kinds of stuff,
Explain what intimacy anorexia is for those
Intimacy
that don't know.
anorexia is the active withholding of spiritual and emotional and sexual intimacy from your spouse.
Okay.
Okay?
What is the
Everyone else
withholding
thinks you're
for?
wonderful. So let me give you the characteristics.
Everyone else thinks you're wonderful. Oh
Everyone
my-
else thinks you're wonderful. You're the one who feels like, so let me give you the characteristics. So if a woman's listening right now, just answer yes or no to these. Okay? About him and then about yourself. Does he keep himself so busy he has little time just for me? We're not going on dates. We get no quality time, right? If a problem comes up, he always blames me first. Does he withhold love from me, especially the way I want it and I've told him? Okay. Does he withhold spiritually from me? Is he unwilling or unable to share his feelings with me? Does he withhold, I said spiritually, sexually from me. Now, withholding sex can be two different ways. We're having sex regularly, but he's never there. Nobody's home. Or we aren't just not really having sex very often. Okay. Does it feel like he has ongoing or ungrounded criticism of you? Like there's always this like negative voice in his head about you, right? Does he use anger or silence as a way to control you?
Wow.
Okay. Some people control around shame or money, but not many. But the last one is, do you feel like a roommate?
Wow.
Do you feel married and alone? Our products are called Married and Alone because thousands of women have said to me before I wrote that book, Dr. Weiss, I feel married and alone. Okay. And so that's intimacy anorexia. And so if they got 5 or more yeses, you definitely have that. Check that out on all the things we just mentioned. Intimacyanorexia.com is the page for that. But it's real. And the trauma in the Partner Betrayal Trauma book, the women who experienced intimacy anorexia had exactly the same symptoms of depression, PTSD, lower self-esteem, etc., within 1 or 2% of the women who experience infidelity or sexual addiction. It's the betrayal that's the same. And it's not the what of the betrayal, it's the who of the betrayal. When your husband betrays you, it doesn't matter if it's by neglect, infidelity, or pornography. You are going to get blown out. Okay? Because you are all in. You know, in my office, I have this block that we do anger with, and I have women lean on it. I say, now put all of your weight on this thing. Okay? And I wait for them to get there. And I say, now imagine if I punched you when all of your weight is here. That's why you're so fractured. Because you trusted with everything. You gave all of your heart. Now, the good news is I have a product called Indestructible. The human heart is indestructible. It can't be broken. We're going to live billions of years, either in heaven or hell.
Wow.
So nothing in time can destroy you. But when you get betrayed, you feel broken. And the feelings are real. The pain, the grief is real. The process is real. But you will get past it.
That's right.
Okay, one way or the other, whether he does or not. You will, because I've seen women had to make choices. And I've seen many couples restore if they both make the choice to do that, because that's a 2 people decision.
I have a friend who's actually in the middle of, his, well, I have many friends in my past. So there's like a combination of many, but one particular, the husband just has a really bad addiction problem and can't seem to kick it and keeps coming back around to it. And in the midst of that addiction, there's a lot of women in and out of the circle. And so she's kind of just making a decision to move on into...
Because he's married to himself.
Yeah. And so I actually am sending her some of your resources, but I literally told her recently, you have tried everything to continue to keep this, but
when you have a clear conscience.
You can't keep fighting when he won't fight for himself. Like you just cannot.
You can, but you die in the process.
You die in the process. And that's what she's realizing, is that she's realizing that she has been catching and trying to help. And I know there's a lot of women listening now going, I just believe that this is going to be the last time and he's going to change. And I love what Laura said on the last podcast is she said, if he's not passing you in the work for himself, he's not doing enough. Like
right. You should be working harder than he is.
You should not be working harder than he is.
We have a mantra called believe behavior.
And so what would you say to women who whose husbands have been cheating or abusing or whatever, and they keep saying back, the husband keeps saying back to the wife, my God, it's been 6 months, move on.
Well, we have...
Because that to me
so I've been answering these questions for 40 years.
Okay.
So when I say I have a product, it's because I've had 100 or 1,000 emails and I answered the question.
I just feel like we've hit the jackpot.
I know.
All of our audience.
So the product is, why do I stay when it doesn't make sense?
Why do I stay? That's the name of the...
That's the name of the video.
Okay.
Why do I stay when it doesn't make sense?
Okay.
Because she's not staying because of him. She's staying because of her.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And when she identifies the what in her, whether it's finances, fear, not wanting to put herself out there again, not wanting to be rejected or whatever it is, when she faces her fear, she's free. She's not staying because of him.
That's so
100%. It's not because of love. It's because of whatever it is because of. Most of it's, I mean, I've counseled 5,000 women in very honest conversations. So I have a vantage point that most people never will have.
That's right.
And I can't tell you how many women said, I'm staying for the money, straight up.
Yeah, I'm staying for the money.
I go, you know what? You are going to be okay.
Yeah, because you know what it is.
Because you're not lying to yourself.
That's good.
You're not saying you love him. you're saying, I like being provided for
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to stay. Hopefully he changes. Okay, you're going to be fine because you're not in denial
That's
about
good.
who you are.
God, that's so good.
When you're in denial about who you are, I'm staying for the kids. No, you're staying because you don't want to get a job.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to get a job. Yeah.
But I've had ladies and their homework was, listen, I want you to go apply for a job. And then I had this one lady, true story, early in my career. Her boy was 16 years old. He was this awful, like one of the worst men I've ever met in my life. Awful, right? He was so anorexic, he wouldn't touch her. He was dirty. It was like really bad. When I say worst, I worked in psychiatric hospitals. I've seen clients for 40 years. He was one of the top 1% of bad.
Wow.
And she said, well, I have to stay for 2 more years to get my boy out of high school, and I'm going to get my nursing degree. But as soon as I get my degree, I'm going to leave. I said, you'll be fine because you know why you're staying.
That's good.
She got her degree, got her first job, came in and saw me the first week she got her check. She was so proud of herself.
Oh my God.
She's like, Dr. Weiss, I
love
got my job and I filed today.
Oh my gosh.
The
I
next day
love
he comes into my office and
Oh.
wants an appointment.
Of course he did.
And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, it's
A little
You're
bit
out.
too late.
it's too late.
You're out. Go away. I'm
Yeah.
not taking you.
So as long as a woman knows the real truth
That's
as to
so
why she's staying,
empowering.
she'll be sane. If she lies to herself why she's staying, she will become dysfunctional.
That's so empowering because I love what you're saying right there. If you know why you're staying, you're going to be okay.
Right.
But it's the denial.
It's the denial.
God, that's so powerful because it puts the power back
And
in her hands.
Right. And
you
if
know?
you're in denial, you're going to overeat.
Yep.
You're going to drink.
Yep.
You're going to watch TV. You're going to spend hours on social media. You will find you're medicating to cover up your self-deception.
That's so good.
So good.
So good. Do you have any questions? I feel like
No,
I'm just like, oh my gosh.
No.
So I'm a yes
Fascinating.
for everything that you have to say. Let's talk about this forgiveness for everyone. And I'm going to tell you, let me set this up because my husband and I have been talking about this just in general over all of our, he and I have been processing our, family dynamics, our history, our grandparents, all the, the things. As you get into your 50s, you start reflecting on a lot of things in your life. And, we were talking about forgiveness over things and forgiving ourselves for things. Speak to what the context is because I love, and I will tell you, one of my friends just told me, she sees things are moving and changing in my life. My dreams are coming true. And she said, she knows some dynamics in my life too. And she said, I want to remind you that if you don't have total forgiveness, then it will stunt your opportunities, your blessings, your growth, your open
There's
doors.
some legitimacy to that. Absolutely. Forgiveness for everyone is for everyone because you have already been hurt. You have already been lied to. You've already been betrayed. I mean, it's already happened.
Right.
To everyone old enough to listen to us, it's already happened.
Right.
Now, what you do with it is up to you.
That's
So in the
good.
forgiveness for everyone, it's actually the same stuff. If you were paying me a lot of money to come do an intensive, I would have you do. Okay. So you do go through and you identify those that have hurt you, but you also have to cleanse your temple first. Jesus cleansed the temple before he said, Father, forgive them. And this is an important piece. The anger, the valid, righteous anger that we carry from these betrayals is real. And the body is storing that anger until you cleanse your temple.
That's right.
So walk people through that. And then there's a forgiveness exercise for the perpetrators in your life. And then there's a forgiveness exercise for you forgiving you because some of the things in your life are there because of you.
That's right. Yeah. But we don't
I've looked at
forgive
some clients and go, you're the biggest perp in your life. I mean, yeah, those people did that, but man, look what you did to you. Oh my gosh, I'd fire you. Right. So they have to forgive. So they have to forgive themselves. And I can tell you, I've done this thousands of times with people. And the hardest person, I mean, they've been sexually abused, they've been abandoned, they've been cheated on, and they go through the exercise, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And then they get to them, and it's like, I'm not really, I'm not sure I'm there yet. Dr. Weiss, I'm not there yet. Okay.
I've seen that so often.
But in the book, I give them an exercise where they can go back every month and they can keep doing it until they get there. And then, okay, there's a chapter on going and asking for forgiveness, taking responsibility for your side of the road and the people you've hurt, and go back to them. And there's caveats to that, obviously, and take responsibility for what you've done. Now you have a clear conscience. The scripture talks about a clear conscience, because when you look at anybody, you can say, we're clean. Like, I took care of my side of the street. Okay. Now they don't have to forgive you. That's not
That's not
required.
on yeah, that's not
Right.
on you, right?
That's
Yeah.
on you. But if you take responsibility, I do this. Gosh, I was in my early 20s when God had me do all that, which was great because I'd hate to go back now and do all that.
Yeah. You're like, well, I got a long road behind me.
So
Yeah,
all
that's
those people are still
amazing.
alive, right? So, but it really is like it's a tool for anyone for their personal lives. They can do a group with this, or every pastor should have this, because we tell people to forgive, but we really don't walk them through the process that actually works. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
counselors even, will say, well, just forgive them. Yeah, but the bullet's still there.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
forgive the guy
how?
for the bullet.
Yeah.
But how do I get the bullet out?
Out and heal the wound. Yeah.
That's what forgiveness for everyone is for. Get the bullet out, then do the forgiveness work, and then you don't walk with a limp anymore. And when their name comes up, you don't get that tightness in your chest anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you are free. And that's what forgiveness for everyone is about, walking through that process. And I mean, I've used these principles for decades, and I know they work. I've seen the miracles.
Well, and the thing is that I'm a big believer. I know I love The Body Keeps the Score. That's a great
Yep,
book.
great book. Dr. Van der
And
Kolk.
yeah, and it's literally, and then Don Colbert, Dr. Don Colbert. He wrote Deadly Emotions, and that was my introduction to the attachment between emotions and disease.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know any of that until I read that book. And that was probably 15 years ago. And it just took me on a journey. And that's what landed me in the space of sex trafficking and helping to restore these girls. But I truly have seen unforgiveness of others,
Yes.
bitterness, anger. I learned a long time ago that one of the definitions of the Greek word for bitterness is malignant. And that just like, it's exploded my
absolutely.
malignant. That means it's growing and it's like taking over. And that's what we hear when we hear the word cancer. We say, is it malignant or benign, right? So malignant is one of the definitions of the word bitter in Greek. And so I thought, wow. And I remember going through that there. But I can tell you, I have thought, and I've even taken pride in myself and going, oh, I've forgiven that. The Lord, I had a really serious liver issue in 2023, and it was very bad, very, very bad. And the Lord, I thought, okay, the doctors, nobody can figure out what's wrong with me. Why are my enzymes so high? And I thought, okay, I'm going to the Lord, because why am I trying to figure this out over here on the earth? I'm going to go to the Lord. So the Lord said, well, you're angry. And I was like, I'm not angry. I'm actually, I'm amazing. I love my life. And the Lord kept saying, no, you have anger. And I'm like, I don't have anger, in my consciousness.
I'm not mad.
I'm arguing with the Lord. I don't have any anger. Stop telling me I'm angry. And so one day I just sat down and I just got my journal and I said, and I just started asking the Lord, okay, tell me where I'm angry. I don't believe I'm angry. Lord, just tell me where I'm angry. And I'm just like, and then, oh my gosh, Doug, the Lord started bringing back, well, remember when this happened and you were angry about this and you're still angry. And you
Your
guys,
body was holding the trauma.
yes. And so I started writing, you guys, and it was flooding. And if you just trust God in your life and trust God's voice, if you'll just take a pen to a piece of paper and write a letter to God and just write to him, he will take over and start answering you back. Some people think, well, I'm not Christian enough, or I don't have a communication with God, or I don't hear God, or he doesn't speak to me. Yes, he does. You just don't believe that that's him. And so for me, I was writing and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I'm still, yes, that is still, and I was having these moments, and it took me about a week or two to get it all out.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you, when I started, and then the Lord said, now let's go back and forgive everybody. And I was like thinking, I don't know if I want to forgive that. I can remember feeling that posture of just closing myself off to, I'm not sure I'm ready to forgive that. And then of course, you go through the process of why am I not ready? But I felt like this, what you're saying, this cleansing over me.
Totally.
But I still feel myself like a path to letting go and moving forward. You know what? If I can speak to women listening right now, there's also men listening. I want you to move forward, because God has the abundance of heaven waiting for you on this side. You don't have to die and get to heaven to experience the abundance and the freedom and the joy that God has for you. When you can get into forgiveness about whatever it is, you're going to set yourself free, and you get to experience all of the greatness that God has for you right now. And so, Doug, speak to like that part of that connection to God's abundance through that forgiveness. Like,
well, God loves people that are like him.
Oh my gosh. There it is.
No, I said,
Let's put a ball on that.
but God likes people that look like him. Okay? Just like you like the child that acts like you. And when you see your child be kind, they have favor from you instantly. Right? You know, if you see your child give 30% of their check to the poor, you go, I'm going to figure out how to deal with it. I'm going to bless that kid.
Come on.
Right?
That's right.
And when we forgive, we look like him.
That's good. Oh my gosh.
How
Do you know what I'm
forgive-
saying? And then
Yeah.
he just goes, wow, that's great. Because I commanded that. And he loves obedience.
That's right.
Like all parents do, right?
Yeah, right. That's right.
But when you forgive, you release that, because then you take that out of you, and that lets there be space for God to put something else there. And that love will be there. You'll actually have empathy for your perpetrators at some point. And it's just good health to forgive.
It's also,
But you
very
have
good
to have the
health.
right tools. You really do, because
You were going to ask, what were you going to ask?
well, we've just kind of touched on it, but how you forgive someone who won't admit that they did anything wrong or apologize.
that's one of the first things I talk about in the book is, as believers, you have the superpower to forgive. They don't have to change. They don't have to repent.
That's right.
You can forgive without anything on their side. God would never set it up so that someone else would control whether you forgive or not.
That's
God,
good.
that's so
So
good.
Yeah.
he died while we were yet sinners,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
You're able to forgive even if you're on the cross and they're beating you, right? You have the superpower of forgiveness. And if you look at the scriptures, that superpower of forgiveness was one of the things that drove them to kill him.
That's right.
They couldn't stand that he could forgive sins. Every time he
right.
forgave sins,
It made him angrier. Yeah.
they got so mad.
Yeah.
And then in Christ, we have the exact same superpower. You can't sin more than I can forgive.
That's right.
You can't do it,
That's right. Come
because I
on.
have an unlimited ability to forgive, because I'm connected to an unlimited source.
That's so good. I
Do you
just
know what
told
I'm
somebody
saying?
the other day, I said, they were just on and on. I can't forgive myself. I can't forgive myself. I said, okay, here's what I want to say to you. This is my analogy. I feel like what you're saying to Jesus is the work you did on the cross wasn't enough for me. Like it just wasn't enough. Like, yes, thank you for forgiving everybody else. But for me, I need a little bit more work from you so I can forgive myself.
Well, I would ask the question, why are you so terminally unique and, and unable to take responsibility for your calling?
Come on. That's so good. Come on.
Because when you won't forgive you, you're standing in the way of both. One,
on.
you're not unique. Okay. So stop being so arrogant. Two,
So good.
you don't want to limit your destiny by someone else's sin. Okay. Or even your own. So why stand in your own way of your own destiny because you're judging your sin? You're not smart enough to judge your sin. Okay. If you were that smart, they would call you Jesus, and they're not in line.
Gosh.
Okay. So we're sheep. We're not bright.
We're sheep. We're not bright.
Okay. I mean, he could have compared us to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I am the lion and you are my pride. Right? Because lions are smart and they're strong. You're the giraffe, I'm the king giraffe. No, he said, I'm the shepherd, which means I'm way superior to you in every way you could imagine.
Right.
I can outthink you, outperform you, I provide for you. You're so dumb you would walk off a cliff.
That's right.
Okay, that's the comparison between us and the Father.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if he's
So dumb you would walk off the cliff. That's so
do you know what I'm
true.
saying? Well, we have.
And
Many
I'll
of us
come
have,
get
yeah.
you. I'll come
Right?
for the one. I'll
So
come to get you.
He
Yeah.
will, but it's important that we don't assess that. We just say, okay, you know what? I am going to forgive you. But there's an exercise, and they can sit down, they can do it. And if they can't forgive, that's fine. Go to next month. By month 3 or 4, you'll get there. You'll forgive yourself. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than one stab at it, and I'm okay with that, as long as you're going to stay in the process, because I know the process heals. Okay. Me and Joni were having a conversation just yesterday, and it was one of those wow things. I said to her, we're talking about alcohol and drug addiction. I said, well, processes can be duplicated. Like forgiveness for everyone is a process. Partner
Right,
recovery,
it is. Yep.
sex, it's all processes, and you
Right.
can be healed.
Right.
Processes can be duplicated, and we've duplicated them all over the world. Miracles can't be.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Okay. God determines miracles. You determine process. And if you'll get in the process, oftentimes God will do miracles.
He does. That's
Right.
so freeing because you don't have to try to make the miracles happen.
No, you just get in the process.
You just get in the process.
Confessing your faults one to another. Like there's a process.
Gosh.
And when you
Okay.
do the process, you get better.
I keep feeling in my spirit right now, like it keeps coming back to me over and over again. So I want you to maybe try to speak to this. I'm thinking about the woman right now who has committed so much unbelievable sin. She is so beat down on herself. She doesn't know how she could ever come back without the repercussions of her sin and her choices of life. And she's just as beat down as she could be. And there just doesn't feel like, what's the point of even trying? Like,
Oh my
I've
gosh.
done so much wrong.
Yeah, I've heard of this woman, and her name is Mary Magdalene.
That's right. Come on.
She was Mary Magdalene. She was a
Magdalene, yeah.
prostitute.
That's right.
She did everything wrong. Like, if you could pick a woman who did everything wrong in her life, it was her. Sex for money, addicted, out of control, a mess, demon possessed.
Demon possessed. She was delivered from like 8 demons, something like that.
So if you're her, you are in line to be Jesus's best friend.
Come on.
So don't look at you and don't look at your sin. Look at him. If you keep looking at you, you're going to be stuck with you because you're limited. You look at him and you become unlimited. You can be forgiven unlimitedly. You can be used of God. Your sins will become now your message, not your mess. And you will minister in power that no one else has. Like what Carla talked about earlier, when you get delivered from something, you have authority over something. So whatever you have been in bondage to, you will now be able to walk over.
Come on.
Where if you're hopeless, you'll be giving hope. If you were sexually broken, you'll be talking about purity. You don't get to decide your destiny. You just need to put your hands and heart in the hands of Jesus and say, Father, forgive me. I'm coming home. I believe you died for me, and I'm going to live like you died for me. I lived my life. Now I'm giving my life to you. And if you'll do that, you'll be his best friend. And I've seen prostitutes used by God. I had on my show a woman who was literally in the adult industry making tons of money. And Jesus radically saved her. Now she's out there. She's a preacher, and God is using her because she's authority to speak to things
that's right.
that she was trapped by. So, if you got more traps than anyone, that means you're anointed and called. I tell people this: listen, the devil, he knew I was going to change the world. He could see the anointing on my life.
That's right.
So I was conceived illegitimately. I was abandoned. I never met my father. I was put in foster. I was abandoned again, right? I was addicted. I was sexually abused. I mean, he threw everything at me to stop the anointing of God through me.
Come on.
So if you're that person who's getting a lot of, let's say, stuff thrown at you, you're anointed.
That's right.
And the problem is, the devil knows more about your anointing than you do.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
So don't stop. Fight for what God's given you.
Doug, I as you know, I worked in a safe house for 10 years, restoring girls rescued out of sex trafficking. And I call these girls the Navy SEALs of women because I've seen them come back from unbelievable trauma.
Unbelievable.
And one of my dreams is to have a program that they can go through. One of my friends has taken her 18-month program and she's squashed it into 6 months. And I'm watching her from a distance and I'm supporting that and cheering her on because I'm like, girlfriend, if we can do this in 6 months, we can.
I'd love to look at that because I could probably accelerate that quite a bit.
Okay. I would love for us to have this conversation. I'm going to put together a round table of people. So part of what I want to do through my show is raise money to send back to all my friends still working in the trenches. But I want to put a round table of all my friends who are still in the trenches with these safe houses, with these girls, and also in domestic violence. And I want to put a conversation together where we can cohesively work to lower that time and actually rewire the brain. Part of our fundraising is going to be to bring neurological scans into the brain. So
we have that in my office at Heart Counseling Center.
Yes, we can see the damage and then we can create the rewiring.
Absolutely. We do that and it takes about 5 days. And so what happens is and they go through a process and it's these sounds and all you do is lay there and listen to these sounds and it mirrors back your brain. And it's a franchise. You have to buy it. But because I work with women who have been betrayed, there's some women like they're stuck. Their brain just go, and we're all for years we're like, what do we do with this?
Right.
Well, I got kind of connected to this, and it's like, wow, this really works. The first time I did it, I haven't had white sugar since. That was like 20 years ago. I mean, we have all kinds of miracles happen. But I mean, I'm just saying everyone has different results, okay? But it definitely rewires your brain because like, and so the women, by Wednesday, I can see a difference in their eyes. They're not stuck anymore. They're able to now work. They want to be sexual. They want to be connected. They're not stuck anymore. And like about 3 years ago, I was in pretty bad accident. I had a really jacked up Jeep, and I was in the snow in Colorado. I came around a corner and went head on with a Dodge Ram truck. Totaled the Jeep. Still missed him. Okay. But, and the bag came out. I was fine, but I knew I was off for a few days. I just felt like off. And so I had the technician run my scan, because I've done it several times. So they have all my brain stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, you've never been this bad. Like, your brain's usually really good. I'm like, okay. So by Wednesday, my brain was back to normal. Okay. So it works.
So how does it work? I don't.
Actually, a pastor got hit over head over a bat in Los Angeles, and he was an engineer. Couldn't get help for years to get his brain to function correctly. So he figured this out. They put about $50 million of technology into it. That's why it's a franchise. You got to buy it. But the sounds go into the computer and it echoes back to, so the brain can actually see itself. And when the brain can see itself, it can then heal. And it does it without any medication or anything. I've had people, who are drinking like 18 beers a day, stop drinking. I've had people whose blood pressure dropped a lot. Like, it's just weird. Once you fix the computer, it's amazing what happens.
That's why I'm so fired up about that.
And so that would be part of what you want to do. But we've been doing this for 40 years, dealing with trauma. So there are solutions for a lot of these things. And, ladies, if you're in this situation, there's help for you, for him, and the marriage as well. Because when at Heart to Heart Counseling Center, we treat all three at the same time, him, her, and the marriage. Because the marriage is its own entity that needs its healing.
That's right.
And so we give tools for that. So that they do those tools, the marriage moves down, she moves down, he moves down, and they heal.
That's like we're in the same motion of that restoration of that family home and marriage. And I really believe that, see, when I went through these 10 years and so many of my colleagues just believed that we had, and a lot of counselors I worked with, Doug, said to me, the only way these girls are going to have a chance is if they're in therapy for 10 years. And I said, I absolutely do not receive that. And I don't believe it.
Well, it's because when you have a three-dimensional being, and you treat them one-dimensionally,
that's right,
you are going to take 10 years.
Right.
Okay, now here's the problem. Psychiatrists are trained in medicine.
Right.
Pastors are trained spiritually. And psychologists and counselors are trained in the soul. Now I'm cross-trained. I have an MDiv as well as a PhD in psychology. But women and men are three-dimensional. You have to treat all three at the same time.
Wow.
And when you treat all three at the same time, you accelerate the healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which just makes sense, right?
Right. It just makes sense. That's right.
So because Paul said, sanctify your spirit, soul, and body. He didn't say sanctify your soul or sanctify your body or sanctify your spirit. He said sanctify your spirit, soul, and body. And when you do that, you can transform a lot quicker.
That's right.
So like in 5 days, I get a lot more work done than they do in many years of counseling. I've had so many clients we've been in counseling 5-10 years.
Yep.
We got more done in 5 days. I go, I know, because you weren't being treated three-dimensionally.
That's right.
So that's at your place in Colorado?
Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs.
Okay. So do you do anything over the phone besides?
Oh yeah, there's phone counseling. Yeah, if they call, we have phone counseling from people all over the world actually. So yeah, they can do that. They can do intensive. They can do phone counseling, individual or couple.
The brain scans, would that be something?
That you have to go for. Yeah, you can't do that over the internet. Yeah, you can show up for that.
That's really neat. That's something
that's just hopeful. I mean, that feels hopeful for people who feel hopeless.
I just do it about once a year just to keep my mind sharp because I'm writing books all the time. So it's just like, and there you go.
I'm coming because I know I have some trauma from the past that I've done a lot of work on myself, but I am so intrigued about everything that you're saying.
Yeah, you should go and do that and maybe hang out with Judy for a few days, one of our female therapists. You and her would get along great.
Yeah, I would love that. Honestly, I feel like you've spoken to so many women, and I know this is like, one little grain of salt in your entire life and everything that you offer and you put out, Doug. But for me, I have such a heart to see, and I teach this all the time. It's when I say I want women to be set free, it's not so that your kids can be happy or so that your husband will be happy. It's so that you will be happy.
Absolutely.
Full of joy, full of peace and love. Everybody who happens to be around you gets to receive that naturally because it's your overflow.
Right, absolutely.
But women, you are the most important thing in your life. And if you're good, then the whole country, I mean, the community's good, the church is good, the home is, everybody is flowing whenever she is in
Well,
her.
when she feels worthy, we have a product called Worthy, and it's a workbook. It's a course for women, okay, and they do groups of this all over the country. But when a woman feels worthy, not because of what she's done, but because of what he's done,
That's good. Come on.
she's got to replace her worth for his.
That's right. That's right.
You got to replace your words for his.
That's
He
right.
says you're worth dying for. When I was in Bible school, I was 19 years old, radically saved out of sin. Okay. Alcohol, drugs, and women. Okay. All of it. And I sat in my Bible school room and I said, well, Lord, if you were going to save me, why didn't you raise me like in a Christian home like the other 90% of these kids? Like I'm a mess compared to these guys, right? And he took me to a place and he said, listen, you're worth my blood. That's your worth.
Wow.
My death is your worth. And that can't be changed.
Wow.
And he's right. And ever since then, I've never struggled with low self-esteem at all. Nothing.
Wow.
It's like, that's my worth. Okay. Because that doesn't change. Doesn't change based on my taxes that year.
That's right.
It doesn't change on whether your kids like you or don't like you or life or whatever's going on. It doesn't change. And when your worth is that, like in your heart, you believe you're worth the blood because he says so. Nothing can move your worth.
That's right.
If your spouse is having a bad day, you go, bless your heart.
That's it.
Bless your heart.
That's right.
Having a bad day, aren't you, honey? Because I am wonderful.
That's right. I'm not having a bad day. I'm having a great
I
day.
didn't change. I'm wonderful. I was wonderful when I woke up. I'm wonderful when I go to bed. Jesus said so.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I'm good.
That's
You
right.
know, and then what happens is the zipper goes on the inside of you instead of the outside of you.
That's right.
And then other people can't pull your zipper up and down.
That's a good
That's
analogy.
so good.
Does that make sense? So yeah, so there's Worthy's that product. So I'm telling you, we've been solving problems for women and men for 40 years. So we have about 50 books and another 30 or 40 DVDs and training programs and stuff like that. So solving problems to get people well and whole is what we've been doing. And so we've covered like a little bless anyone. If you're listening to this and you feel like you went like all over the road, I'm not taking responsibility for that. But we covered a lot of
responsibility for
but we
that.
covered a lot of things that touch different things in people's hearts and lives, and appreciate your heart for women because they need to be valued.
That's it.
You know, and I've been fighting for them for 40 years and you're fighting for them, and I appreciate what you're doing here together because women need to know that they are valuable.
Yeah.
And that if they feel whole, they bring life to everything.
They do.
You
And
know,
that's what I want.
that's what's beautiful.
That's what I want. And my heart really is, and I always say this, we go from doing to being. And we are doing people, like women are doers, and we feel like we're constantly having to do and outdo and outdo and do more and do more. And I think, you know, Doug, for me, I've been married 35 years and I was a doer until about 7 or 8 years ago when I finally, the Lord took me through such a process of freedom that I thought, you know what? I'm just get to be now. And I released Simon, my husband. I released my kids, my family, my everybody. And I thought, everybody, it's okay because I've got my little circle. I call it my field of blessing. I've got my little circle and I live inside and I've set up shop and curtains and nice little snacks everywhere in my little space. Me and Jesus just right here. And then it's okay.
Totally.
And you can find you have a space too, and you have a space too, and everybody get your space in order, and we'll just like love on each other. And I don't have that zipper on the inside. I kind of have my shield, like you can't come in unless I open the door.
Well, that's what the zipper on the inside means. I will open up.
I will open
when
it
I
up.
choose to
That's
open
right.
Up.
That's
and
right.
I will close it if you're not being appropriate with me.
That's correct.
I have boundaries.
That's what
right?
I do. And I teach just move your little circle out of the space and go. Sometimes when, you know, in the past when I was just learning this and Simon and I would have a disagreement or everything would get intense, I'd go, you know, I'm going in the other room because I just got to get out of that space. I've got to I've got to recenter myself. I've got to bring my nervous system back because I was just like,
well, that's the
no.
emotional fitness thing. You need
That's
to get
right.
your emotions
back
you need
in
to switch.
That's
yeah.
right. I got to do my stuff. So, okay, everybody, all the stuff is going to be in the description if you're watching this. Let me just tell you, this is just 2 of the many. But right now, Forgiveness for Everyone, I want you guys all to go get this. Whether you think you need it or not, please just go get this book. Like everybody. I want to start a little club about this. And then also Partner Betrayal Trauma. I just sent this to 2 of my friends and I said, go order this right now. And so if you've been betrayed at all in your life, whether it's from a parent or a spouse or a child or a grandparent or a teacher or a pastor, please go get this book and get started. Because if you don't take charge of your life, if you don't do the journey, stop waiting for everyone around you to get healed. Stop waiting for everyone around you to get it together so you can be happy. You have to do things for yourself, connect to Jesus, and all of this stuff is gold, you guys. Like, I cannot tell you how thankful I am.
Oh, great.
When
Glad to
Joni
be here.
texted me and said, hey, you want to have Doug? I'm like, what? Yes! Like, yes! And I was so glad that you said yes so soon, and here we are. So please, 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 everybody. Doug, tell everybody how they can find you. Like, give me all the goods.
Well, they can go to drdougweiss.com.
Okay?
They can call 719-278-3708. And someone will be there, and they've been answering these type of phone calls for a very long time. So you will be heard, you will not be blamed, and we'll get you directed to the level of help that you want, whether that's material or individual counseling or 5-day intensive, whatever you need.
And here's the good news, you guys. I want you to know that no matter what has happened in your life, no matter what has brought you to this point, you might feel so much shame and regret. You've told no one. You're in this secret, dark place. You too have the ability to be set free. You too have the pathway to freedom and happiness and joy and all the things through Jesus. And you guys know, a lot of you watching don't believe in Jesus, and you have different beliefs, but I'm telling you, we believe that Jesus is the only way to total freedom and new life. And so will you pray a prayer for salvation?
I would say that, listen, I have been lost. I really have been. I know what it's to wake up and to be in pain, to feel less than or confused, feeling like my sins, especially the sexual ones, are unforgivable. And if that's you, I just want to speak to your heart. You're believing lies. You are totally forgivable. And here's the best thing: most guys who stop acting out with themselves or others, they double or more than double their income. Life becomes great spiritually, emotionally, sexually, financially. But if you think that you can't do this, let's just do it together then.
Come on.
Because maybe you can't, but we can. So we're going to pray together, and you're going to say what I say. And if you say it from your heart, you're going to have a new life. Just say, Jesus, forgive me of my sins. I repent. I believe you died for me. I believe your blood paid for everything. I make you Lord of me in Jesus' name. And if you did that, then I would definitely start reading the Gospel of John, get into a local church and start feeding yourself spiritually. You were found. You're a family member. You were made to be in this family. So join the family. Yeah, there's healing work to be done. Yeah, life's still going to be life. But when you have Jesus as your best friend, who is like really God,
that's really good.
It's so much easier. Really, so I encourage you to do that. And if you do, please let somebody know here so they know that they've touched you today.
So good. Thank you, Doug. This has been life-changing, and I look forward to us working together for many, many, many more months and years.
Great.
And unbelievable. Thank you, Jesus, and also thank you, Joni. Guys, I am so thankful that you watched today, and I know that you are probably on 10 right now, and please, take the steps for you. Take the steps for you to get yourself forgiven, to get yourself some help and some healing. I love that Doug has all the resources for you. Make sure and check him out on YouTube. Go to his website. All that's going to be listed in the description for you. Also, don't forget to go check out our organization, bochis.org. You guys know we are working to restore victims of exploitation. And so we always look for support, prayer support, financial support. We are also looking to start providing cars for young girls coming out of this life who have completed a program and need a car to get back into society, to get to work and get busy rebuilding that life. And so if you have any connections there, or you'd like to donate a car, please get in touch with us at bochis.org and come and help us to give these girls hope and healing for a future. And we thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. God bless. Bye-bye.